Good afternoon, good evening. Stop scrolling and start building, creators. You're welcome to join in, say hello in the chat, because we are crossing today a rare astrological threshold. We've got Saturn and Neptune at a 0-degree conjunction in Aries. So this is the ultimate spark of the zodiac. And it really is about us moving out of the energies of floating around, not knowing where to land, and to begin creating and building the blueprint that we desire to build for ourselves, for our families, for our communities. All right. So let's go into everything today about what we need in order to be the creators in our lives and shift this timeline right now. All right. I see some people joining in here. Jason, the sound is good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear we've got sound. And Tressa from Your Self Evolved is here. Let's get a sip of water. Good morning, Kimberly. Kimberly's here. Hello. Happy Friday. Wow. Can you believe we're here at Friday again? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So just a reminder to everybody who's joined already, if you would hit that thumbs up, that helps this live video get placed in those algorithms and attract in more new creators to our circle. So make sure to do that. Whew. Whew. The energy is already starting to bubble up. I can tell messages want to come out today. I just took a big sip of water and I could just feel it like trying to land in there. My goodness. Yes, and dropping in the live chat, letting me know, one or two words. How are you handling the energy? We've just transitioned into the Pisces season. So we kind of went from, hey, here's this solar eclipse. Hey, we've entered the year of the fire horse, according to Chinese astrology. And oh, hey, now we're going to deep dive you into the deep, dark ocean waters with the Pisces season coming in, right? What a mix of energies we have going on here, right? And so today we have powerful astrology happening once again, and it's going to continue happening for the rest of this month. And we are in eclipse season, so eclipses are happening. We're getting closer and closer in the northern hemisphere to the spring equinox, and that would be the autumnal equinox in the southern hemisphere. And really what we're being asked to do is ride the waves, but like build at the same time, right? And that takes some tact and that takes some skill. So we'll be really getting into this today. I do want to remind everyone that this Sunday, actually, on the 22nd, so 2/22, is our live Q&A. So for those of you who are interested in getting a free personal mini reading, I do those every other Sunday night here on the channel, and the next one comes up this Sunday evening. So would love to have you drop by there. I would recommend, I start at 7 p.m. Central. I would recommend dropping in closer to the 7 o'clock hour, especially if you have that burning question you want to ask and you want to get a reading on, because we fill up pretty quick, and I usually stop at 8 unless I'm feeling really fancy and want to go longer, but I do usually maintain that about that 8 o'clock boundary, depending on how many people are there in the chat, because I want to make sure that my readings are as energetic at the end as they are at the beginning. Okay. And so to preserve the energy. So the 22nd, this upcoming Sunday, you can come on the channel. It's for subscribers, so you have to be subscribed because we want you to be involved in the community. We want you to enjoy all the videos that are out. I put out a video, a long form video every Tuesday. There's community posts and polls going up every week. I'm here every Friday for Frequency Friday, and then every other Sunday. I'm probably going to be blending in another like learning type of video pretty soon. That's in the works, right? Things are going on in the background. And then be sure to save the dates for March for the live Q&As. Those dates are the 8th of March. So be here on the channel for subscribers, 7 to 8 p.m. Central, and the 22nd of March. So if that's something that you really want to come on and just say hello, you may not even have a burning question, but you might just want to come on and enjoy community messages for other people and be a part of the community. So that's also very much invited to our wonderful creator community. We've also got Astrotarology, which is a really cool mix of that I've put together of like, okay, let's build in and blend in all these astrological transits because there's very much energy in all this. Let's blend and build that in with our tarot messages as we work with the archetypes of the tarot. And this has been going really well. We get to cover everything. And on these episodes, these are posting on Tuesdays. Right now, at least they are. These are also including a psychic weather forecast for the week. So I share the energies that are cresting, the energies that are calming, and what you can expect, and give some good tips, always focusing on what's healthy and what's good for us to move forward with as we navigate these very interesting energies, okay? So make sure your notification bell is set to all, and then that way you won't miss it. Now, if it pops up and you're busy, you're going to get to it later, that's fine, but you get that reminder so it keeps it fresh in your mind. We did have, Your Self Evolved has asked, how was Tuesday's Ladies Temple? Yes, so the replay did go out for those women who weren't able to join the live event. That should be in your email. If it's not, let me know, DM me later, and we'll work through any kind of problems that might have occurred with that, because I am noticing that there are some technical issues. We still have a lot of energies dealing with Aquarius, and so Google Gemini, Google's AI, Gemini, has been disappearing people's chat history and their messages. So there's a big ticket open on them right now. Notice some other glitches in apps. Jason's on, does DoorDash here and there. They glitched out the other day, sent an order, and then it all of a sudden wasn't available. You're going to see stuff like that still happen. I did not break it. It wasn't me. Although, a lot of people use these things for their businesses now and stuff like that. So it's caused quite a stir. It's not something you're going to see really in the news because they don't want to admit they're having a problem. No offense, but you guys all don't want to admit you're having a problem. So they're working on it. They found the issue and now they're working on restoring everything. So we have to roll with these changes, whether they're natural, whether they're technological. We kind of have to roll with the punches, but I'll go back to the temple. The temple replay email did go out. It looks like it's successfully sent to everyone. So if you did not receive that, make sure to check in your promotions and your spam folder, okay? Because maybe it landed in there. And then be sure you add the email to your safe senders list, your contacts. That way you won't miss anything. Now, if you're listening but you're not on my email list, you can tap the link in the description below. I have my link tree in there. You can connect with me on one of the social media platforms and DM me. You can email me, Stephanie at Creators on the Crest, and I'd be happy to add you to the list, okay? I'm working on getting an active link on the site itself. This is one of the technological things going on in the background so that people can subscribe direct. I just have to get that activated, and that's another step to go through. But the Fire Horse Rising Temple was incredible. The women that showed up for that event were just of the highest quality and presence. It was very powerful, and the fact that you can also, if you miss the live, that you can go back in the replay and have that experience is a whole lot of fun. And, so the other thing I'm doing, and I don't have it ready yet because with all the Gemini stuff, I wasn't able to get all the instructions for how to do this, because I usually work with Gemini to say, give me the step-by-step so I can do this. I'm working on editing out that video. I'm taking the original members of the Fire Horse Rising Temple got a free mini reading included when they registered. So their readings are on there. I'm editing that video, editing that part out. It's only available to the people who joined the live or registered and are initially on the front end. But I'm going to be making the experience and the meditation, I'm going to be trimming it so it's nice and succinct for anyone who would want to experience that. It will be available on my website by Sunday night. So I don't have that ready yet. I wanted to have it ready today, but it's not ready today. So we roll with these, we roll with these changes. I'm a solopreneur. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's pretty much someone who is running their business, by themselves. I don't have any employees to edit videos right now. And I'll say right now, because in the future, I hope to get some help, but I don't have a social media manager, anything like that. I'm doing it all myself. And I'm also a very busy mom, homeschool mom. And life is just busy, right? So please understand sometimes, if there's delays, that's usually why. It's not because I don't want to get it out or anything like that, but it's a lot. And if any of you have worked on a business yourself, and been that solopreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And kudos to you for sticking with yourself through it, because it can be a lot, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. For anybody who is trying to shift their life into being their own CEO, right? Creative executive officer, I like to call it. It's a big undertaking. There's no way to mince words around that. I mean, you have to be showing up for yourself, right? But I will say the rewards and the ability to be in your own creative juices all the time with things is like the prize, right? That's like where we want to be. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the astrology today, and then we'll get into the oracle reading, and then we'll be doing some breakout tarot readings. But for our astrology, the big thing that's happening, and I think it's happening pretty much right now while we're on the live, is that the planet Saturn and the planet Neptune, which are in the thumbnail for this live, they are conjunct. Now, what conjunct means is next to each other, close together, at the same point. And Neptune had entered Aries, so they're entering into Aries, all right? Neptune entered into Aries a little bit while back, and then Saturn moved on in, and then because of the speed of which the planets, depending on their distance from the point and the sun, right? They move at different paces, so Neptune is a bit slower because it's a bit further out. They're landing right at 0 degrees today. And what this is, 0 degrees Aries. Aries is an entirely new start for the zodiac. It's first house energy. There's 12 houses. It's first house energy. 0 degrees is like the 0 point. So it's a cardinal point as well, I'll mention. And the cardinal signs, there's 4 of them: Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer. But Aries in particular, first house, cardinal, brand new start here, brand new start. We've got Neptune, which is dreamy and imaginative. And then we've got Saturn, which is build it, do it, get to work, stay focused, right? And we've got these two coming together. So it's a really great opportunity for you to put your dreams into reality here, all right? So if you are building something, if you're working on launching something, now is a great day to anchor the energy in, all right? This is a threshold, a portal, a threshold moment here. This is, and what I've also learned is that this particular conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in Aries is rare. And we've got two levels of rare here when it comes to this conjunction. We've got the lesser cycle of like, this hasn't happened for 36 years, Saturn and Neptune being in Aries. Okay, so that's kind of like the cycle of these planets. So we've got that lesser cycle, but for them to be in this position at 0 degrees like this and have this cardinal point threshold, what I'm seeing and have been able to validate with other astrologers is that there's a 6,000 year cycle here going on as well. 6,000 years. So we're going back into like BCE, y'all. Okay. So we have a 36-year cycle and then the larger cycle of 6,000 years. These are huge energies that you can use to your advantage. You know, there's that saying like, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do, right? It's like this quote of like, and I'm not really into the whole greed and money thing, right? But when we talk about your own creative presence, your life, what matters like on ground level, right? I see my creator community as the billionaires from a sense of the quality of their character, okay? So we're talking about bringing your brilliance, bringing your best self, and building from a really strong foundation, which we set up in Capricorn season, right? We really set that foundation, began to just, you know, fill in all the cracks, make sure the foundation's set, make sure we have our cornerstones. We did all of that. And then in Aquarius, you know, we became innovative. We started talking to people about all this. Now that we're in Pisces, we're taking it into the depths, right? We're taking it into that watery energy. Our emotions are getting really connected to everything now here. All right, so we've got this energetic window today. It's open, hello, but it's only the beginning, y'all. We're talking about major cycles here. So when I say a 36-year cycle, this is these two planets going through all the 12 signs and houses, right? So we're just starting in Aries, but you're going to be feeling this Aries energy for quite some time. In fact, I think here, these two planets will be together until April 2028. So here's this new energy. And if you're not feeling it today, that's completely okay. You might not be feeling this. You're like, what? What's new? You know, I've been doing this. I'm, you know, drinking the same delicious coffee I've been drinking every day. I'm, you know, kind of in this routine. But today, being a threshold moment in a portal might be a really good opportunity for you to switch some of that up, get a little more creative, do something differently, take a different route. All right, so this kind of thing. But we have time to really maximize this energy. It's not like, it's exciting today because it's happening, but it's not like you have to have it all figured out in this moment. But you're going to be feeling these energies. And this is all while everything out in the reality field is chaotic. All of these energies of what has been hidden is being revealed. All of these public presences, right, are being called out for their lack of integrity in how they've operated, right? That's going to continue to happen. You ain't seen nothing yet, okay? Like it's going to continue to be revealed and unravel, which is a good thing because we need to be able to see and say we don't participate in that, we don't accept that. That's a no for all of us, right? We need to be able to say no to that so that we can value and anchor in this new reality that we're creating for ourselves, for our children, our grandchildren, future generations, the communities around us. So it's what we're willing to accept and what we're not. And being able to take, Aries is about being able to take action. Saturn says, I want you to take action, but have a plan set up, have some steps, right? Which can make us feel good. Like, okay, we have a little plan here. We can move forward. We're not just bulldozing through and skipping steps. We're actually, Saturn is making sure that we're trimming off all the fat, that we're, dotting the I's, crossing the T's here. So whatever area of your life, and let me know in the chat, is there an area of life, maybe you're focused on career and finances and you're shoring that up and you're starting a new cycle with that. Maybe it has to do with your health, right? Like Trussus is saying from your self-evolved, there's never enough hours in the day, right? Right, and you're feeling that Aries energy really pulling you, right? And it can be connected to how you feel. And then Saturn comes in and says, hey, slow it down a little, slow it down. And so we're feeling the quickening, the quickness of it. And so what becomes important, and this is something I've been talking about, is that the decisions we make in our personal lives day to day, from when we wake up, the first thing we look at, the first thing we think about, are you opening a blind and like looking out the window and absorbing some vitamin D? Or is the first thing you do, get on your phone and start looking at crap, whatever it is, What decisions are you making? And are those the best decisions? And we have to be asking ourselves that. And we want to put our energy into what moves the dial the furthest, okay? This can be simple things like you wake up and you say, oh, my house is unorganized and I need to do laundry today. But if you're focused on career and finances, maybe prioritizing your budget is more important. All right. So we have to have these conversations with ourselves. It's a sign of intelligence to have this dialogue within yourself. And what better conversation to have with yourself than what are the decisions I'm making each day? And are they the decisions that are moving the dial the furthest? We're still going to be honest with ourselves, especially women. We're honoring that feminine energy because sometimes we still need to rest. Sometimes rest will move the dial the furthest because it's necessary that rest happens before we take that action. Okay, so we're really having that conversation, that internal conversation with ourselves. So we've got all this big spark energy happening, Saturn and Neptune. We're feeling it because in the outer planets, because of the slowness, we tend to feel that energy longer and more drawn out, kind of like the major arcana of the tarot. So when I think of like the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, right? I think of the major arcana of the tarot. When I think about Mercury and Venus and Earth and Mars, that's kind of like our minor arcana because we move through those things a little bit faster. That's another way that Astrotarology is very complementary and reflects, okay? We do have a reprieve. Thank you. We've got on the 22nd, which is my next live Q&A, we've got 2 exalted situations. We've got Venus at 15 degrees Pisces. Venus loves to be in Pisces, okay? And Jupiter, 15 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter loves to be in Cancer. And these are trining, forming this very favorable energy for abundance, opportunities, and a sense of flow, okay? Even if you're resting, a sense of flow. So we have this really, really, really neat trine going on. So on Sunday, you might just be feeling like, wow, okay, I feel a little bit of a reprieve. I'm feeling a little bit better, right? Inside myself here and how I'm going to progress because I feel Venus is happy and Jupiter is happy. Sure, Saturn and Neptune have just opened up this huge gateway, but we're going to take the energies that help us move the dial. So really be just into connecting with the Venus and the Jupiter energy on Sunday, okay? And that's a beautiful trine, a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. If it's not landing to you in the physical, you're still manifesting it and connecting with it energetically, okay? So it's a very good day to really just, maybe you need to just enjoy a nature walk, or there's something special you'll do with your family, something on Sunday that makes you feel good. Maybe you'll be joining the live Q&A. You know, people ask questions, a lot of different kinds of personal questions in the live Q&A, right? So they might ask about another person or a relationship, which is absolutely fair. We're all curious about that. We all want to have a peek and an insight as to what's going on, especially when we're so emotionally close to things. But you can also ask questions like, could you deliver the highest and best message for me today? Or what is this Venus and Jupiter trine energy meant? What does it want me to know? What's meant for me in this, right? You can ask these kinds of messages to help empower yourself. You can ask for messages from your spirit team, what they want you to know about the transits that are happening and how they're impacting you and how you can use them to your advantage. So whatever way the energy works for you is what you want to lean into, okay? Now we're going to start out because we've got this Saturn-Neptune thing going on. We're going to start out with some oracle messages. And today I'll call this oracle session here. It's the creator's blueprint. Okay, the creator's blueprint, because remember, Saturn is wanting us to build, is wanting us to map things out here. And Neptune, which is like Pisces energy, right, is saying, oh, just, you know, love this experience. Be compassionate with yourself. Enjoy this, flow with this, right? So a creator's blueprint will involve both the creative aspects and the action steps. So we're going to go with the oracle messages that reveal to us collectively here as a creators community the spiritual vision that we're being called to anchor into the physical reality at this threshold. So we're really looking into spiritual vision. I'd like to hear in the comments, those of you who are tuning in, what do you think when I say spiritual vision? What do you feel comes up for you? What bubbles up for you when you think of spiritual vision? What are you feeling called to? Now I'm going to start shuffling, but I'd like to hear from you all. What spiritual vision are you being called to? And are you noticing it maybe predominantly in one area of your life or another? And what are you, what do you think you're supposed to anchor? Right? We're going to get the help here from the oracle. But what is it for you? Would you like to share? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments there. So I'll kind of be keeping an eye on that while I pull the cards here. We're going to go with this cute little Spirit de la Lune, these little circle oracle cards, because we also have like a lunar thing coming up on March 3rd. Some of the astrologers really heard a good message about it today from Pamela Gregory, Pam Gregory Official on YouTube. 2 cards have fallen out for us. I'm not surprised with the differing energies. We've got 2 cards here that are coming out for us to reflect on, and I'm going to roll with them. They just kind of flew out together here today. So your self-evolved says spiritual vision, being in alignment with what is meant for me, which includes the downtime and the self-care. Yes, that balance that must be struck. Yeah. And any of you that do have access to your astrological natal chart, you can see what planets you might have in these areas of Libra, especially. That might be where you might get a little bit of help. So just a little tip if you have your natal chart for astrology. Coming up, I think, in between now and when I'm working on my membership community, I may offer something along the lines of helping people get started on their astrology chart, just so they can get a little more comfortable, a little more anchored into that energy, since it's a great time to anchor and look for the places where your creative flow might be best supported. And sometimes that creative flow is best supported by the balance and the rest. That's why I mentioned the Libra energies. Those can be really good for that as well. If you're looking at health, you might look into the Virgo energies, for example, or where You might have placements in Virgo in your chart, for example. So let's get into these cards. Whew. All right. You would like something like that? Yeah, I think I'm going to do something around that. That's bubbled up the other day when I was having a moment to take a few deep breaths, which is good. Taking lots of deep breaths lately. I was like, you know what? I've done where I've helped people with intuitively with their 4 pillars or the 4 cornerstones of their astrology chart. Now, this will come to factor in later when we do the breakout readings, because I always say, get really familiar and intimate with your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising or ascendant, and your north node. And those kind of form your base. And, you know, Saturn and Neptune is loving that right now. It's a really good time because we're setting up the new blueprint, right? Our lives are changing and we're right at the beginning. We've crossed over the bridge in so many ways in the past couple months. So yeah, I think that would be really good match for the energy that's going on right now. Okay, so the first card we got is, of course, number 11. So we have a master number 11 going on. Make a wish. Everybody make a wish. And we have our first quarter moon being highlighted. I'll show you the picture. And the word is ignite. So let me hold that a little bit closer. Number 11, the first quarter moon, and ignite. All right. Now, that doesn't mean we're in this exact moon placement. In fact, I'm not sure what our moon placement is today. Let me look it up while you look at this card. Moon phase today. Let's see what it says. Oh, I have to use Google for this because it's just better. Moon phase today. Thanks for this little, I have to find it now that we got this card, because there's an ignition here. Okay, we're in a waxing crescent. So we're not in a first quarter moon, but we're in a waxing crescent. We're going to be getting to a first quarter moon. All right. So what that tells me is that some of you, let's see, when is the next, because I think we might want to mark our calendars on this. When is the next first quarter moon phase? Let's see if it gives it to us. Haha, February 24th. Oh my gosh, Tuesday. That's when Astrotarology is going to come out. We have an ignition. Maybe some of the message that I'll do on Tuesday will be around ignition here. So some of you, especially if you're like, oh, I'm not quite feeling this yet, you know, give it a few days. By this first quarter moon, you may feel the ignition. Now, this could also be the igniting of a new idea. So really pay attention this upcoming Tuesday, February 24th, to what comes to you, because there's ignition energy here. It's going to feel fueled and it's going to feel good. We also, though, have the energy. This is number 21. So we have an 11 and a 21. And we got the full moon fulfillment. And we're going to look up the next full moon so you all can mark your calendars. Let me show you this card too. So this one is very red and like Saturn Marsy kind of energies, and this one's very Neptune-y looking to me. The full moon, that will be on March 3rd. March 3rd, and I believe we have a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse on March 3rd. So mark your calendar. We got fulfillment. I love that. So we have both ignition. There's that action, that active energy that Aries likes. And then we have our emotional connection to it. That's Pisces energy with fulfillment. The 24th is the first quarter moon. The full moon happens on March 3rd, 6:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. So important dates to that as far as the moon goes. All right. The moon, to me, when I think about the moon, I think about the things that oh gosh, let me know if you guys have ever felt this. It's like the things that you know, but they're right under the surface. And sometimes it just feels like you could reach out and grab them, but you can't quite get to them. It's like something that you feel you need to know or something that needs to be revealed to you. And it can be frustrating because you're feeling something there and you want to connect to it. It's an energy you want to connect to. The moon has this way as it goes through the phases of like letting those layers that's in between you and the connection with this energy, those layers dissolve as the moon phases wax and wane, right? And so I really feel like the layers between you and something you need to know, something that maybe you've been like, gosh, I wish I could put my finger on it. I wish I could connect to it. Maybe you've even got a glimpse of something, but you're like working to anchor it in. I feel that energy for some of you listening, right? Even though these aren't necessarily personal readings, when you bring your energy to a live like this, the chances of me picking up on that and your energy in particular is much higher. So, the way I read is it's my greater being, it's my higher self connecting in with yours, with the community here. So these messages may feel personal. You'll just have to identify what is it for you specifically. But very interesting that we got those exact moon cards and each of them are kind of jumping to a date in our near future that kind of give us an indicator there. I love when that happens. And I'm glad I looked it up, because I can't memorize all the moon phases off the top of my head. When you get into astrology and you go deeper and deeper, you're like, whoa, like kind of wish you had like in the Matrix where they just load a program and then maybe one day. Oh, and we're having a little, I just pulled another oracle card for us from the Angel Dreams Oracle here. Yourself Evolved. You might remember this. You might remember this one. Hello, numinous dualities. How are you today? Welcome to Creators on the Crest. So some of you have been tuning in over time. We've talked about this energy before. When I was doing the episodes of Tarot and Tea, we talked about this. We got a balanced message from the elemental kingdom and we got Hawthorn. Remember when I was drinking the Hawthorn tea and I was really focused and working with this energy? It's coming up again. And I'm wondering if this is coming up again as I was speaking about the Libra energies and like looking for these little places of balance. And the elemental kingdom comes up and we're doing breakout tarot readings after the oracle messages by element today. So we're doing, water signs, fire signs, air signs, earth signs, right? So really, really harmonious energy coming through. Numinous Duality says, I got to a certain point where I thought I knew so much of astrology, but I realized I don't know shiz. Right? I know. I totally relate to that feeling because just when you think you've pulled back the layers, like there's more. It's truly a lifelong study. And but there's so much good base starts out there. And then there's like different forms. There's like the Western tropical, there's like the Vedic, sidereal, evolutionary, intuitive. There's all these different kinds of astrology. But just find what works for you and roll with it. You got to start learning somehow. That's why I like doing those 4 cornerstone placements because I think it grounds people in, gives them a really good place to start with the sun, moon, ascendant, and north node. It's a really great way to anchor into your own astrological energies and fascinating stuff. Really fascinating. Very ancient, very fascinating, very fun. Thank you, Numinous Girl Dawn. Woo, she's here. How are you today? Good to see you. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're in the Oracle reading. I'm getting ready to pull a card from the Starseed Oracle because since we're asking the question for this Oracle reading of like, show us the spiritual vision that we are being called to anchor into the physical reality as we're like turning the page into this new cycle with Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees today. happening while we're conversing here, okay? So hello and welcome. It's so good to see some of you drop in and say hello. Okay, so we got from the Starseed Oracle, we got Child of the Cosmos. And Girl Gone says, I'm good, trying to keep positive with all the crazy energies, right? Right. And so we're talking a lot about anchoring. What I've talked about a lot lately, because we're in the year of the fire horse now, that's kicking up. You ain't seen nothing yet, right? It's still coming more and more. But we talked about grounding a lot. And this week's Astrotarology message, and you might have some of this, if you have hematite or magnetite, those kind of stones are really helpful right now for grounding. I've got my magnetite is on the four corners of my desk here as I'm working. My hematite's getting cleansed right now. But if you do get that, you know, stone, it can be really helpful. Or another grounding stone. Some people might have other ones they're connected to. But it's interesting that you put that. There's all this crazy energy. And maybe this card will help because it says, you are a child of the cosmos. The intelligence of the universe lies within you. And let me just hold this really close because it's a beautiful card. I try to hold it steady. Child of the cosmos, the intelligence of the universe lies within you. So maybe on this leg of the journey, some of us are really working on grounding in our energies because we are connected. We're in Pisces season. We're really connected to that spiritual energy. And we're working on understanding it's all within me. And here's our grounding, our darker grounding energies going on around. We're learning how to bring this in, right? And I think it's remembering. We've been talking a lot about the planets and what's going on out there in the cosmos. This card says, wait a minute, y'all, don't forget. Don't forget, it's within you. As within, so without. As above, so below, right? It's all connected. And one of my mentors always said, yes, isn't this a beautiful card? Oh my gosh. One of my mentors always said, now I lost it. My brain went in back to this card again and I got out of the energies. What was I going to say? It'll come back to me. I'll carry on, but we're grounding in this spiritual vision. And we are the ones, right? It's the we are the ones we've been waiting for energy. It's all within us. Oh, okay. I know what it was. Okay. So one of my mentors, he would talk about, his name is George Kavaslis. His website is ourjourneyhome.earth. Pretty cool, right? He's written a book called Our Journey Home as well. He talks about like the universe, like being in a fractal universe of contrasting expressions, but that we are a fractal of the universe. And by fractal, it doesn't mean like a smaller part of or a fraction of, it means a reflection of the greater universe is within us. And I'm seeing that in this card here. Like our fractal nature means everything is within us. We can't always like access it super easily because of we're living a physical reality that we're navigating. And like Girl Gone has pointed out, there's a lot of crazy energies, right? We're constantly being bombarded with that. Even if we have really good protections and, you know, we're using our crystals, we're grounding ourselves, we're getting our solitude when we need it. Even when we have really good practices, we're still like knowing and feeling that something that things are chaotic and that we're also walking the planet with a lot of people who aren't connected to the energies. And so they're unable to ground and they end up getting caught in the whirlwind, right? And so, yeah, it's our ability to find joy, to be able to stay positive and not from the perspective of we're going to pretend. Like if we're having feelings where we're sad, we're angry, we're not going to pretend that we don't have those feelings. but we're going to face those emotions. Pisces is going to face those emotions. It's going to bring it up for us, right? Pisces wants us to face it. We're going to have compassion for ourselves because Pisces loves to extend compassion. Sometimes we forget to extend that patience and compassion to ourselves. We're good at giving it to others, you know, being able to give a little bit, keeping your cup full, right? Those are the things. That's the challenge. But I would say if you're here listening right now, you probably have a leg up on most people, right? You probably have a leg up in this area. And it doesn't mean it's not hard and challenging. And it doesn't make your challenge any less that I'm saying this, but giving you a little bit of hope and giving you a little bit of confirmation that, in fact, you probably have some really great things established. And all we have to do when we have that toolkit established is make sure we use the tools, right? And that's the thing we have to remember is like, okay, what are the tools in my toolkit today? And how can I use them the best, right? So the other thing that's really interesting, and this is kind of a confirmation of what I just said, and I think it's going to be a confirmation. You know, Girl Gone, you're talking about we are divine and the magicians and we're all of it. It's all connected source. Yes. And that's the essence of spirituality and even the essence that you can extract from religious structures, right? Because they are built on the essence of truth. And then they have like a lot of inverted, misleading energy piled around that. So you're extracting that energy. You're looking at the message, not the messenger, and you're extracting that essence. And this card, I think, is going to confirm our abilities. And what I was just saying, the creators community, I feel, is good at here. And numinous duality says, I keep seeing 111 groups of ones. This past week, I just noticed it. Yeah, I have 1111 in my handle. Yeah, I do have that. And yeah, so messages from the numbers, they're going to show you that's a reflection for you too. You have your own personal reflection of those ones showing up for you. All right, now this card is an 8. I love that. It's a number of abundance. So we were talking about Venus and Jupiter are trining here on the 22nd on Sunday when I'm doing the live Q&A. We've got that trine, so that's abundance. Number 8 is about abundance too. And as we work with this beautiful spiritual vision and this connectedness that we have from deep inside of us that we're working on connecting to and then expressing and anchoring it into the reality, we got alchemy. And let me just read what this card says. Yeah, it's the infinity symbol. You're going to see that in here. Let me read because I love how it describes. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability. Girl Gone was just talking about magic, right? Magicians, the mages, and remembrance of the magic. So there's the remembrance. There's a connection to it that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. And I just got chills when I read that. And I'm always calling like your heart core essence, your heart soul essence is the great transmuter. That's where the alchemy happens. So have a look at this card. I'm loving these energies because I see kind of the reds and the oranges here. But with the purple, the Pisces energy is going to be that crown energy, the purple, the violet, and extending upward. So it's the bringing in of those powerful spiritual knowings and energies, or the bringing out of those from deep within yourself, and being able to move your physical body, the oranges and the reds, your root and your sacral, in action in the world. So even the colors here are representing something to us. Alchemy. Yes. And, you know, when we think about metallurgy and alchemy, it's turning the lead into gold, but it's metaphoric for us, right? So the lead would represent just our, the journey or the challenge that we have to work through, and we're working to transmute this into gold. And all of that happens in the heart space. All of that happens in the heart space. So Pisces season, and this is an interesting connection in the astrology. Pisces opposite is Virgo. And Virgo, bless you all if you're a Virgo, beautiful Virgos. So their brains are beautiful, but sometimes Virgo struggles a little bit with the heart energies. Okay. So we have kind of that energy of like, okay, Pisces is speaking loudly. So if you are a Virgo right now going through Pisces season, this is a great time for you to really connect in with some of those heart energies and really practice that, even if your default might be more mental. Now, it also depends on what else is going on in your chart. So if you're just a Virgo sun, if you have like some sort of watery moon or something, that could be a whole different arena for you. You might be like, oh, I'm already good there. I have this other placement that balances that out, right? So we love our Virgos. We love Jason's a Virgo. And I'm always like, you have a beautiful mind. I love your intelligence and the way you think through things and analyze. But I'm always like, get in your heart. And, sometimes he's like, what are you talking about? Like, because his portal of receptivity is a bit different from mine. But that's where the balance comes in, right? Krogon's got the Virgo moon. Yeah. So in this Pisces sun season, you have the Virgo moon. So you're really going to be seeing, I think, the polarity here. And maybe that's why you were like, hey, I'm trying to stay positive because you're really seeing it. And, the nice thing about Virgo is they are really good also at detaching. I'm a Cancer sun, so I'm like, ugh, if I get, stuck on something, it's like really hard for me to detach and let go. I think Virgos they're better at that, right? They don't, they're able to kind of let some of that sticky energy kind of flow away. So, almost knocked my glasses off there. I'm sweating. You Virgos got me. Virgo wants to come up and talk during this Pisces season. I love it. I actually love the other energies bubbling up. Claudia S333. There's some more numbers. Virgo. Yes, Virgo crowd. We love I love Virgos. They can drive me nuts sometimes, but they also, here's the thing about me. I say they drive me nuts, but my sun and my Saturn are in 6th house, which is Virgo energy. So I'm to a Virgo just from a house perspective. Okay. So yeah. And how that translates for me is, especially with health, because that's another thing, Virgos can really like be good leaders with like health consciousness as well. They can be very health focused. And I'm not just talking about physical health, it could be mental health, all the health, right? Emotional health and well-being. But like, since I have Sun and Saturn, like if I get off, like Saturn comes in as like, So like if I lose my way with my exercise routine or stuff like that, like it tends to kind of come in and be like, nah, you got to get back to it. You can't let this go, right? It kind of right there. Numinous Duality says, I have an empty Virgo 11th house with some asteroids. Interesting. I have Mars and Pisces in the 6th house of Virgo and sidereal. I often wish I had an actual Virgo placement aside from Lilith. And is that Vespa? So yeah, isn't it interesting? Because one of the things that I've learned about empty houses in astrology, because some of us in our charts were like, all the activities over here and there's nothing going on over there, but there is something going on over there. And we are all the signs in all the houses. Like as much as we have our own placements to help us navigate this lifetime, because the universe is within us, we are all the signs in all the houses. So Numinous might just have like a different mechanism of accessing that Virgo energy personally for themselves. because that 11th house energy is Aquarius. So that's very buzzy mental. And the positions of those asteroids, you know, that might be really interesting. And I'm wondering if, because you said and then your Mars is across the way there in Pisces. So you've got some interesting ways of looking at things. And that's what makes this astrology so fascinating. You can look into these energies. I'm one who has, when you look at my chart, my Pisces placement looks empty, but there's still so much going on, right? And then also there's other charts that will show you and like your partner. You can overlap your charts. So like Jason and I did this once. When you overlap our two charts together, we have a Pisces moon that we share, which really means that through our connection, we can awaken the shaman in each other if we're willing to, if we're paying attention, right? So we have this like deep Pisces moon that wants to like awaken something in each other and in the world, right? So there's all kinds of directions. Girlgon says, yesterday I was hiking and looking down at the roads, and just the way everything was laid out looks like a circuit board. It was like I was seeing the earth grids. Wow. Okay, that's really cool experience. I love that. That is really cool. Because, like sometimes I get distracted. Like I remember doing a lot of driving when I was younger, and I would just go places. I have a Sagittarius cusp north node, and so I like to be adventurous and go. And I always saw like the paved roads. Now, I don't know if some of the roads may lie on these grids that you're seeing, but some of the paved roads, I just kind of felt like they were like scars on Mother Nature sometimes, and maybe it's just from like past lives of like walking the earth more, not like driving across on this, because that earth, to make these roads, like they dug up resources from one part and paved the roads, right? And I always had like an issue with that. I was always like, I feel kind of like I feel that. But it'd be really interesting to have the vision that you're having, like those grids, and then like see how the roads line up on that. That would be super cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool. Asteroids are very important, yes. And I would talk about them if I knew a lot about them. But I was listening, when I was listening to Pam Gregory, she just put out a video today, I think, that about the lunar eclipse coming up. She talked a lot about smaller bodies in that, and I didn't even know what some of them were called. There's so many different things that can go through and have different impacts on our charts. Claudia. Let me find out, Claudia. I know that I did that couples layover chart on, it was called Grupo, Grupo Venus. I used to use that, but you have to kind of like sign up for it to get access to the different charts that they offer. I mean, I think there might be like a free just natal chart version, but you have to like sign up. So I'm not sure I would recommend that. I'm using astro-seek.com, or if you just type in astro.com. The thing is that I don't know if you can pull couples charts there, but you can pull a lot of data off that site. All kinds of transit charts, natal charts, everything like that. So I'll have to research that a little bit more and get back to you, Claudia. But yeah, it was really cool when I did it. I have it saved in my email somewhere. Yes, they clear the trees for the paved roads. Yeah. Have you guys ever like driven by some place where they're clear cutting instead of like planting the buildings around? They just clear cut the trees. It's like I don't like it. It makes me upset. I really feel that when the trees have been just disregarded and just chopped down, like with no care and concern at all. Grogan says, I I will walk downtown and have a vision of how everything could have looked like without the buildings, like a backwards time lap. Yes. And I think a lot of us have like soul memory of walking the earth and being here in other lifetimes where we, you know, we're very connected, more connected maybe than humanity is currently with nature. And we remember these deep bonds that we formed. Maybe we're walking barefoot too, right? Really connecting, earthing all the time. Numinous says there is a synastry chart, composite synastry, and I think another. I think what I did was one called a composite. So maybe go that direction and see if you can find it that way. Okay. Last oracle card, and then we're going to get into the breakout tarot readings. We got number 26. And I love this because this is the age of Aquarius energy coming through. So we've kind of gone, we kind of went into, you know, some details about the spiritual vision that we're anchoring into the physical world. Some of you have shared your very powerful visions that you're having as you're out and about. And that's just it. That you're seeing the spiritual and the mundane all at once, which is very cool. We got gathering around, the power of community. And we have these little, here's a little mycelial network here. Okay, we got a little mushroom network here going on, which when you think about it, what you see above the ground is only half the picture. What's going on down in the soil with the fungal kingdom is magnificent. And then we have these delicate little lace-wing fairies up here. Let me see if I can hold this a little bit more steady there. And it's talking about the power of community. So communities like here at Creators on the Crest, other communities, your local communities that you feel good about or that you desire to find, right? I know I have a bit of that issue. You know, I'm like, oh, if you ever just wish there were more people like you or you know, some things you could do, some activities with people with like minds and like hearts, it can be hard to find in your local community depending where you're at. You know, and but we used to spend a lot more time gathering around in the physical, and maybe some of us are going to have to really work on that. Maybe some of us will be starting up like a meetup type thing locally and seeing how that goes. I know I've been thinking about that as well. You know, eventually I'm trying to get established with my online business right now. But retreats sure sound amazing. I would love down the road to host a retreat. So I'm just putting that out in the universe on today when Saturn and Neptune are conjunct at 0. Universe, I would love to co-host and host retreats where I could actually meet the people in person, you know? Yeah, you bump into a lot of limited beliefs, right? Yeah, or there's just like kind of one focus. It's kind of like there's spiritual, but there's like blinders and it's just like directed at one focus. It doesn't really go deeper. And I think it's hard to do, but hopefully with this card of gathering around and the power of community here, there is a delicate nature to it all. I mean, it would be nice if you could just go to any city, any town and find your tribe, you know, but there is this kind of like delicate discernment coming out because not every group is going to be for us, right? Or going to be something. A lot of groups present themselves one way and you get into it and you're like, wait a minute, that's not exactly what I thought, right? It can be very hard, especially if you want to share things with people who are kind of inside the box. Yeah, and they do. They look at you. Look at you like you're crazy, right? Or they just glaze over, like it's just like, does not register in their experience. But you never know. You know, what I try to remember about those times is just you never know what seed you planted in that experience. You never know how you might have touched their heart or touched a place in their soul that they're just not connected to yet. So also don't underestimate your energetic, even just your presence, even just not even saying anything, but maybe just making eye contact and smiling at someone. I mean, you carry a lot of powerful energy. So, you know, maybe they don't know what it is now, but maybe down the road they will, right? Okay, we're going to get into these breakout tarot readings. And today we're going to go by element. So that came to me like a week and a half ago. I'm like, I got to do elemental readings here. We're going to start with water signs since it's Pisces season. We're going to do Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer, your water signs. Then we'll go to fire for the fire horse here in this Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Then we'll do air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then we'll do earth. Earth is going to ground us in at the end. And that's our Virgos, Capricorns, and Tauruses. Now, if you know your chart, you know your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising ascendant, okay, rising ascendant, or your north node. If you know those four, try to figure out what elements you might be tuning into today. Now, I know some of you, like Numinous is obviously very into the chart and may even be able to do more placements. But if you aren't, that familiar with your chart, just see if you can start with the sun and moon, even start with the sun and moon. So if you have like I have a water sun and an earth moon, right? So those are going to be, I'm going to listen from the perspective of the sun is your solar spark. That's how you show up in the world. It's what fills your soul, right? The moon, and I'm just giving quick little definitions here. The moon is what's going on deep down inside you, what's hiding in the shadows, what gets revealed as you mature spiritually, right? The rising sign is kind of, it can be that filter through which people see you or how they first relate to you before they know you deeply. It can also be the way you put your best foot forward in the world. Okay, and then your north node is what you're growing into. It's the energy of whatever sign energy is there. It's what you're growing into, what you're meant to connect more and more with as you age and as you mature. Yes, girl gone. I have been seeing, yes, you state in your videos for anyone who's willing to connect and possibly help them connect with others. Yes. Check out Girl Gone's channel. She does. And Girl Gone, you're very good at just like, you're very good at being like direct, but empowering at the same time. I like your messages. They're very much like that. They're very direct, but very empowering. And your passion shows through when you're speaking, which is great. Okay, let's get into our water signs. So where you might have Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer energies, check that out. We are asking today for our first reading. Well, this will be the same question for every reading, but what illusions or habits are we releasing? Okay, so this is that final wood snake shed. Some of us have really been feeling that lately. To anchor our deepest vision into reality. So our readings today are very much about anchoring into the physical, taking the spiritual and anchoring into the physical. That's the Pisces shamanic energy. I always call Pisces the shaman of the astrological chart, the 12th house energies. It's where we bring it all full circle. We bring it all together. So knowing that, our water signs, okay. Wow. Water signs are starting off pretty powerfully. We have 2 major arcana cards. So this helps me see that you are you are deeply, deeply anchoring some things. And I think you're doing so while things are rapidly moving here. Now, as a water sign energy, or wherever your water sign placements are, this may be, there is a little bit of what I would call like a requirement from the universe is coming up, the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords is about rest and healing. This is that knowing that, okay, hey, water signs, like you may be right now releasing and shedding some very powerful long-term, previously long-term, so like the first half of your life, big habits and illusions, okay? Now, in a community here where we know when we show up and we're in this energy and we're paying attention, we're very aware, right? We have a very high level of awareness. The creators community are people who are engaged and aware, and they love being students, they love learning. All right. And water sign, it just seems like one of the major things you're learning is how to truly give yourself the rest that you need, the rejuvenation that you need, because the things that you're releasing are major shadow things. Okay, let me just put it that way. Major shadow energies here. I'm not gonna say Scorpio's kind of coming in here and saying like, yeah, like, yeah, like Scorpio, when provoked, they'll kind of sting you, and they're kind of coming through with the message of like, yeah, like I am learning how to temper my sting is what I'm hearing from Scorpio. And at the same time, if I am drawn out into the energies, I am allowing that. Like I'm not going out, like it's almost like I am releasing being drawn out into the energies so that when I strike, that striking, is very directed and potent, and it means something rather than getting pulled in. So Scorpio's kind of stepping out and saying, hey, water signs, like, think about that, Now, Cancer, if we think about Cancer, the crab energy moving side to side has a very good field of vision about the flanks. Okay. So honestly, I'm kind of getting like this art, the art of war from, was it Lao Tzu? Sun Tzu, maybe, sorry. The art of war. That's kind of what the water signs are showing me here. So you've been through it, water signs, and you're learning and you're turning the page to really honor your rest. Okay. Scorpio's kind of stepping up to the front of the trio and saying, and we're not going to be drawn out unnecessarily. Like, and if we do get drawn out into chaos and like the drama vortexes, we've allowed that to happen. And might need to come back to this 0 point here and rest ourselves. Okay. So Scorpio's saying that. Strike while the iron is hot, right? Absolutely. And what's beautiful here is I'm going to get to the shadow part, okay? Because I do think that's water signs are releasing big illusions. And maybe there's kind of like a release of some of the illusions around the way we wanted people to be, the potential that people have versus what is actual. So water signs may be the ones who are really seeing, especially on that public stage, all these famous, popular people that have been misbehaving are now, they're being called out on everything. We see that, so water signs could have a little bit of a hand in that and like pulling back the veil there, it seems like, which is cool. But in order for us, to be able to see that and acknowledge that as well, we have to be able to do it for ourselves, right? And so that's what Scorpio's kind of saying, listen, I'm letting you know straight out, if you get drawn out into these drama vortexes, I kind of get like, Scorpio's kind of like, it's your own damn fault, and you'll learn. You're not going to waste, your stinger on something you can't even sting. You're just out here like using up all this energy. And this drama vortex is like getting your energy, and like that's the loosh, it's called loosh sometimes. And it's like sucking it out of you. And Scorpio's like, you got to save that. You got to strike while the iron is hot. Also, iron sharpens iron. And I'm really feeling like water signs are in this place where they're like, I'm willing to learn the harder lessons. Now we got the Temperance card for the water sign. So this is very interesting because the Temperance card is connected to Sagittarius energy. And it's connected to I mean, it really is about planning and goal setting properly so that you don't waste your energy. I feel like water signs have kind of been like wasting water. Let me put it that way. Like these are your lessons. There may be habits that you've established that just has you like spinning your wheel and you're slinging all that water off and it's just evaporating and you're losing that water to fill your own cup, your Ace of Cups, okay? And so this major arcana card of Sagittarius comes in and says, we need to redirect. And yes, we might still have the same goal that we're aiming at, but the route we take to get there, we're refining it, water signs. We're making it stronger, more direct. Okay? We're not messing around anymore with an imbalanced kind of energy where we're just wasting water, we're wasting our stings. And here's where the deep shadow work comes in and the deep illusions. And I think this is beautiful. Some of you also, I feel, water signs may have, like you've done a certain level of shadow work and now you've graduated that level. And now you're ready for the next level, right? But you have new tools. You have that sharp iron. We got the moon. Definitely connected to the sign of Cancer as well. There's our little crappy crab right there. The moon is like that shadow work where we're really navigating the polarities of what we're dealing with in the reality field. And look, like maybe we've gotten a little off track. Maybe we're going to, and you know how the earth herself is like offset by like 23.4 or some degree level, right? And it kind of like on the axis like that. And if it were like this, like we would have more temperate zones around more of the land masses, right? Kind of interesting. That's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. Maybe water signs are beginning to be intrigued by this kind of, what do I want to call it? Like depth of study. Anthropological, archaeological, I'm kind of getting those words for water signs. So you might feel intrigue around this. And maybe there's something about the ancient past that you're going to be anchoring into the physical reality because you're straightening out your path. You're not wasting your energy. All in all, like if I were to summarize this like an AI summary, I would say, hey, water signs, like don't waste your energy on things that you don't have control over and you're just outputting and nothing's happening, right? Nothing's happening. It's not helping you along on your path. I almost feel like I'm seeing one of those fountains, and what we want is we want your energy here, and the fountain feeds you and it allows you to like give from this overflow, right? But right now what's happening is like you know, like that's not under you. It's not, the wellspring is not established, right? And so some of the habits you may be releasing about placing your focus elsewhere or wasting your energy, you're going to bring it back so that you can direct. It's almost like that water isn't being directed in support of you. And you could even look at it in support of your heart. You've got to keep your heart full. Okay, water signs, a little bit of like, wow. This is why I see a lot of readers like save water signs for last, and I know why they do it, because water signs have the way of just, we're going to pull you all the way under, you know, in the energies. And so it's hard to recover from that sometimes. I think because I have water placements, I'm a water sun, I'm able to like kind of navigate that a little bit better. All right. Let's look into our fire sign energies now. We've got Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. Do I have any fire sign energies out there? I know I have a Sagittarius cusp on the North Node. Do I have any fire suns, moons, risings? Some of you. I have a Leo Venus. What are the fire signs? What illusions and habits might they be releasing to anchor their deepest vision into reality? fire signs. Means the year of the fire horse, so maybe that's feeling a little bit good to you there. Ooh, very interesting. Both water and fire have had like 2 major arcana cards come in for them out of the 3 cards I'm pulling, which is interesting. So this is interesting because I've been talking about grounded fire too. My last Astrotarology was called Ground the Surge, and I'm feeling that for our fire signs. We got the King of Pentacles right off the bat, the first card out. This would be, of course, an earth energy. We would normally expect to maybe see this energy for our earth signs, right? In kind of the elevated aspects of the earth signs, but it's coming up for fire. And I think this has to do with our fire signs getting the reminder of, listen, fire is a very mutable element. It's very fast moving. It can be both destructive and life bringing. And the King of Pentacles comes in and says, hey, we're going to bring that knowing of our capacity. Let's bring it all home. And I think that when I'm really feeling into the fire signs energy, you're bringing everything home. So it's not that you don't feel passion. It's not that you don't feel that beautiful wild nature, but you're bringing it all back to center. And any illusions and habits that prevent you from bringing things into center and into balance, it's kind of like I'm sensing like a controlled fire, right? Where there's like controlled burns so that the wildfires don't take over. This is how I am seeing the fire sign energy. Is they're releasing the illusion that they could just like burn it all to the ground, right? That's really, I mean, that's one solution, but is it really the best? Can we do more of the controlled burns? And maybe this has to do with the expenditure of your own energy, fire signs. Maybe some of you are feeling a little burnt out, and the King of Pentacles says, let's bring it back. I would also say that for some of you fire signs, you're really working on releasing habits that don't help with your financial security. So this could be financial security message for some of you. Fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, you're letting go, like doing extraneous things that don't really contribute to your stability, right? Which can be a little challenging, but the creators community has never shied away from a spiritual challenge here. It can be challenging because fire wants to go wild and burn, right? I've also been recommending and doing a lot of like, this is a controlled fire here, a candle. Could do a lot of candle work, fire signs, and that will help you focus in your fiery energy. It wants to balance. You got the Justice card. Interesting, we have Libra, air, is connected to the Justice card here. Oxygen fuels the fire, but it's fueling it in balance now. Fire signs, you're really releasing the things that tend to create imbalance for you. I'm also hearing inflammation for some of you. Some of you may be tackling inflammation in your body. You may be changing up your diet a bit to make sure that your gut health is happy and balanced. I'm really seeing that. I'm seeing that in this particular Justice card as this energy kind of streams down into this sun here. Yes, and I forgot to mention, thank you, Claudia, for saying that, because this is the Gilded Tarot Royale. It comes in one of these boxes that never holds up, but the cards themselves are so beautiful. I wish it had a little bit stronger box, but I have a couple decks like that where the box, you know, the creator probably, you know, well, it's hard when you're first getting out and creating a deck. They don't always have the money to spend on the fancy boxes. And then some of them have such intricate fancy boxes, it's hard to get to the cards. It's like you open the first box and you have a booklet, then you have another box with the ribbon in there, and then you got to take that box out. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's a little too packaged, right? Yeah, I would say fire signs, you're really, really working on centering, balancing, and releasing illusions and habits that keep you out of balance. And it's happening with this King of Pentacles. It's happening in a very physical way Now, what's cool about this other energy I see is that I'm kind of seeing Pisces season for you, okay? So we're in this water season. I think it's a great time for you fire signs to really reflect. You got the hanging man. Now, look how all the coins, all the gold is falling out, right? Again, that's the financial. Some of you are really going to be, you fire signs are really going to be like focused on, where am I blowing money? Where am I throwing it away? How can I save better? How can I invest better? How can I increase my securities? Now, the hanging man sometimes gets a bad rap. Like sometimes this card can be, oh, you're stuck. You're stuck. You're hanging upside down, you know, but it's also a beautiful card of surrender, because we're, you know, it's an energy of like, we're not in control, but let me observe things from a different perspective. So, like I said, you fire signs, the controlled fire, instead of the wildfire, you're looking at that controlled fire. The sunset, the sunrise, I see it in the background here. And you're really redefining your relationship to what it means to be in balance. I would say Pisces season, a really good time for reflection for you. Really important for you fire signs to make sure that any money you are spending is really going toward what you want it to go to. And I think some of you might have some habits around spending, or you've noticed, oh, okay, maybe I need to buy a bag of coffee and make my coffee at home rather than going, you know, every day to the shop and doing that. Or maybe we don't need to eat out as much, since we have the physical really speaking up here with the King of Pentacles, and that, yes, that inflammation, you're self-evolved, yes, releasing some of that, right? It's very interesting too, because the green pants are like, green is like the color of the heart. The red is the color of the root. But in the Hanged Man, you know, we kind of see that like he's wearing a rooted red shirt with the green pants, but then he's upside down. So then the energy is flowing. So some of you fire signs, it's kind of like turning inside out. It's kind of like going within and kind of turning yourself inside out and upside down, right? Some of you may actually benefit physically, since we're talking about physical matters, fire signs. Some of you may benefit from those like little inversion, like you can do yoga inversion poses, but I'm seeing those little things where you can, like, you lay in them and you lay invertedly, and you know, you get all that good blood flow to your brain. It kind of stretches out the spine. Some of you may really benefit from those like inversion tables or something along those lines. They have all kinds of things now. I think there's a place over here by me where it's like wall yoga, or the silks, you know, yoga silks. Some of you may want to like hang upside down in the yoga silks. And I'm kind of seeing like decompression happening on your spine too. And that's going to open something up, like your spinal fluid. It's interesting, you all are dealing with inflammation, spinal fluids coming up, the body, the finances, right? It's all connected. But I like the cards you're getting, because that tells me that this is what you're going through. So you can achieve this better balance, these better balanced energies, and that the oxygen supply to your flame is appropriate. It keeps it lit, but it also helps you prevent yourself from burning out or overspending or overextending or getting injured. That could be another thing. Watch out for it. You know, Pisces season gives you a chance to look at things from a different perspective. Slow it down. Karen's here. Hey, Karen. That's okay. Karen's a busy homeschool mom like me. Yes, the replay will be up. It takes me, the replay will be there whenever you're ready. It takes me about 24 hours for it to like process fully, where I could put the timestamps on. But if you like listening to the whole thing anyway, just come in and listen to the replay when it's, you know, comfortable for you. So we're moving on to air signs now. We're doing the breakout readings by element. We're on Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Let me hear from you in the chat. Do I have the Geminis? I know we've got yourself evolved, Gemini. We have quite a few Geminis. Gemini is actually, when I run my Vedic chart, Gemini is my sun sign. So I'm one of those people that goes from Cancer to Gemini when you look at the other astrology pattern, which is really interesting. So there's all these, we're multidimensional. There's all these aspects of ourselves that we can really, explore. Again, 2 major arcana cards coming up for our air signs. Air signs, you all have like a way different entry into this question about illusions and habits and what you're releasing in order to anchor. And I feel like there's a part of me that wants to go, and so there's a part of you guys that wants to go towards like gravity. I want to talk about like gravity and like the power of gravity, but also like as a law, like as a physical law, but also like there's this free fall, like skydiving free fall. And so what I'm describing here is the Tower card. The Tower card comes up for you guys. I feel like of all the signs I read so far, Earth is still up next, but of all the signs, I feel like you are really dropping the curtain here I feel like you all either have or are in the process of shifting an illusion or a habit in a major way. Like almost, I feel like cold turkey energy here. Like, I'm not going to eat processed sugar anymore, rip the carpet out from under, and I'm done. Oh crap, my body's responding. I'm free falling, but this is what I signed up for. And I feel like you air signs are really coming on strong into this energy. Now, you may also be feeling the free fall and the intensity of the free fall, though. I mean, here's like no clothes, air bursting up into the body. Like, okay, like that's a little unnerving, right? So some of you could be feeling that. Like it could be your nervous system. And these gravitational forces are having a little bit of a battle. I would not be surprised if some air signs have been experiencing dizziness, vertigo, or been working on and with like weights, heavy weights, or weight training going up in your weights. Like if you train with weights, like lifting more heavily. It's profound though. You earth signs may want to look at also, no, did I say earth? Air. You air signs that are falling to the earth may want to look at your Uranus planetary placement in your natal chart. That might be helpful because Uranus is like the shock, the like cold turkey, like everything's coming out from under you. All this is breaking down. I do feel like, honestly, I feel like you're okay with it because I think you know where this is going. Deep down in your soul, you know where this is going. First of all, like, this is your minor arcana card. First of all, I think some of the initial, and I would look for this in Pisces season, some of the initial, what do I want to say, like synchronicities and some of the initial knowings are being that like people are going to notice this about you. You got the 3 of Cups. This is a social card. This is being with others. This is friendships, brotherhood, sisterhood, coming together, sharing how you feel. You're going to be, some people may not know how to describe it to you. They may come up to you and say, I can't quite put my finger on it, but you look different or you've changed, air signs. But it's because of what you've let go of, and you've let go of it so suddenly that people, and I think it's going to be in a good way. This is a very celebratory card. This could also mean that with whatever it is you're dropping, the habit, the illusion, whatever, you've quit cold turkey. And it could even be, your thought forms. You're quitting the monkey mind or whatever it is for you. People are recognizing it right away. And so new people are going to gravitate towards you. I think you're going to be seeing that in Pisces season this year. All right. So new friendships, new community opportunities, maybe collaborations coming your way. And I feel that kind of comes in the effects field more in the short term over the next month. But then, like, there's an even greater reason that you're saying, okay, I'll do the free fall, or I'll quit cold turkey, or I'll do it this way. It's because great stability is on the other side of all this. Okay, so you kind of have, you're getting a lot like of confirmation in the short term from other people, but in the long term, what you're doing, and this is Aries energy here. So this is beautiful for you over the next couple years until maybe that Saturn moves out of Aries till 2028. You are anchoring in stability with the Emperor. You're anchoring in confidence. All right. So the old skin that you shed is now gone. You're reclothed. You're recloaked in purity and in your innocence, which is beautiful. There's kind of this return to innocence, and the red, the love, and also the root of your community, the new connections coming in, air signs, for you. So I really feel like for you, I'm getting a sense that you're dropping like a heavy anchor fast. It's kind of like a ship in a storm. And you know how, like in the movies, they have to drop the anchor, like they're like, drop the anchor, like really fast. That's kind of like what's going on here, but it's bringing you around into this new stability. And it really feels like whatever creative empire you air signs that's been buzzing around your head, you're going to anchor it into the physical and be able to build it. And you're going to do so. I love this depiction of the Emperor. I think he's got the scrolls. It's kind of like that wisdom. I'm getting kind of that ancient wisdom feeling, like the wisdom schools. He's also holding an axe, which would be like cutting through the BS, right? Yeah, you're really getting into not letting the chaotic mind control you anymore, and people are going to see the difference. So whether it's like a habit with like sugar or too much caffeine or whatever it is for you, you're just beginning to train your mind to think differently, and you're doing it really fast, people are going to notice it. That'll be your first sign. So just make a note. Over the next month or so, air signs, you're going to really be making note how people respond to you. Okay? This could even be strangers that you bump into at the, grocery store. Watch how people respond to you, because that's one of your signposts to say, oh, they see something in me. And you're going to see that probably before, over the next 2 years, you feel the groundedness of it and you feel the confidence come in. Wow. I mean, you're going from here to here, right? I mean, when things break down, you have the opportunity to build back up again. I want to go back to this 3 of Cups card, because let's talk about it here for you air signs. You're meant to have a little more joy in your life as you go through these things. So when you're in these like tower breakdown moments and things have to shift and the rug is being pulled out from under, whether it's by your own accord or the universe, because it'll happen either way. It could be your own greater being orchestrating all of it, though. Don't forget, in the moments where you're enjoying yourself, to truly enjoy and embrace it. Embrace those moments, dance with pleasure, feel the edges of your body, your movement, your flow, anything like that that's like flow but grounding is going to be helpful to you. Whether it's flow yoga, I'm kind of getting like rhythmic movements as well, any kind of dance. Even if you're just at home by yourself in your room and you put on some music and you just kind of free flow dance. This would be just being in joy. When you get that compliment, you get that signpost recognition from the person in the grocery store, the cashier or whatever, just soak it in. Soak it in, air signs, because all of that energy helps anchor and build that beautiful foundation, right? Because the old one has crumbled. So you're building this whole new thing. And it's kind of like, I kind of feel like these little synchronicities are coming in for you, and people come and you've got this big, let's say you have this big like concrete foundation, and people come and like sign it or paint their name on it, like, and leave, you know, a good impression and empowering message for you. Feels really good. Feels really good. I will say in the long run. Right now, it could feel a little shifty and a little off kilter. All right, let me know if you felt that, air signs. And we're gonna close it off today. Our final reading will be with our earth signs. Virgo, and I know I had some Virgos in here. Capricorn, oh my, and the cards just got thrown, whether by my own energy or the energy of the earth signs coming in. Let me get these cleared up a little bit here. They wanted to kind of reorganize here. I'm gonna give them another clearing. Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Ooh, you guys. I'm not feeling as much grounding as I normally do for you, but we are talking about what habits and illusions you're releasing. You're releasing some things. What else for our earth signs here? Oh my. No wonder the cards got thrown. They just went, you know, here on my little desk. No major arcana cards for you, earth signs, and I think you'll be happy with that, because some of these energies seem a little bit, you know, just short-term tricky. Let me put it that way, short-term tricky. Here's what's interesting. You carry the earth sign energy, you carry the earth energy, the connection, typically the groundedness, but I think a lot of you might feel either ungrounded or a little disappointed with the options that are being presented to you, because you got the Seven of Cups. Now, you could feel overwhelmed by options that you just don't want, maybe. What you're seeing, I just keep thinking what you're seeing in front of you right now is a bunch of things that you either don't want or don't know how to put your energy toward it quite yet. It's like all seven of these cups are swirling around. And yes, they each have different pictures. They're each different options, but I feel a bit of like indecision here, or just that feeling of like, I'm getting a little ungrounded because I don't know where I'm going to land. And I'm getting really froggy in the throat. I'm like feeling like, I almost feel like my throat is like a desert. Earth signs. Are you going through a desert right now in your life? Maybe you're going through, because sometimes I have these physical reactions during readings, and then the reading will be over, and then I'm back, like, I'm like, what was that? That was, you know, it's just, it's an energetic here. It feels very dry. I would definitely recommend to all of you earth signs, drink a lot of water. And I just heard today also, bless your water. Self-love club from the earth. Bless your water. You know, just give it a little blessing and ask it to help you hydrate to the maximum. Okay, earth signs. I think you need more water than usual, because I think just feels like you're walking through the desert. The air is really dry. The options are dried up, dried out. You may feel a little bit that way. That may be an illusion that you're dropping. You may have some habits that play into you feeling dried out and feeling stuck, you know. The good news is all the energies I'm looking at for you are short term. So this is probably, you know, not going to carry you into the full Saturn-Neptune cycle, but it may be something that you really have to focus on for the next 30 days. There's also this energy of the Three of Swords, okay? And the Three of Swords represents like a pain body. Now this can be, with it being swords energy and air, it could be mental, like a mental pain body. It could be you just can't wrap your mind around something. All right. Or things are feeling a little bit blocked. Maybe it's that energy I talked about at the beginning where I was talking about Virgo and like, getting into the heart. There could be a little bit of a habit or an illusion of escaping some of the pain points in your heart. And that may be why you struggle a little bit to sink down into your heart and you maybe focus more on the mental energies. But it's kind of like if your heart is feeling like a stone and it's been pierced, we need to pull the swords from the stone, right? And let the heart warm and recover. I'm also getting for you, like, for some reason, I think it's from seeing the heart and the heart being a big, primary muscle in the body. Like for you, earth signs, it's really important that you get blood flow into your muscles. You could be weight training and building muscle, but I feel even more important, like stretching and getting deep into those muscles is really going to help you guys. Maybe that's one of the things. Maybe you haven't been that good at that and you're establishing a new habit where you're getting into some of that deep tissue and you're stretching, even like that myofascial work, or I'm seeing like heat, like warming sensations going into your muscles. You guys might even like tuning forks therapy or something like that. Like we need the vibrations to get into your muscles. And it feels like that would be super helpful for your blood flow, for your cardiac health, and everything to do with your heart. That's connected, right? So there's that spiritual or maybe even emotional avoidance where you're wanting to focus a little bit more on the mind. You're trying to break that habit and come more into the listening of the body, which the good news is you're an earth sign and the earth herself is alive and she's a body, right? A planetary body, and you can really connect in with that, but you got to really get in those muscles. I really feel like getting in those muscles and really getting water and hydration and nourishment. Like some of the tissues might be a little crackly. I'll tell you what I did not that long ago, and I was like shocked, okay? And I only did this because I had gotten sick, like kind of one of those illnesses, like sinus infection stuff that ran through the whole family. And I was looking online for like exercises and little ways to drain. And because I had a full ear too over here. And there's this little cross spot in our ear where you can kind of take your fingers and you can go like this and you just kind of wiggle. And oh my gosh, on the ear, like the tissues in this ear just were like crackling. Now they're fine because I've been more mindful of like really like massaging my ears. There's so many nerves in your ears, but it was like, and I was like, oh my gosh, the energy was so stuck in there. Acupuncture might be nice for some of you. So if you're having trouble releasing acupuncture, if you're okay with that, I mean, those little needles will like pull out some of that energy, some of that tension. The tuning forks might be a little bit easier because it's like vibrational energy. Chiropractors have kind of that little thing that they can do to like loosen up your muscles and before they adjust you and things like that. So massage, warm, cupping, this kind of thing, really helpful for you. You're definitely in the next 30 days, Earth sign's going to bring an end to something. There's a part of you that's connected to energies that are no longer, they're dried up, they're dead, they're no longer serving you. And the 10 of Swords represents you dropping the gate on that. You're going to be done. You're letting that part finally, you're letting it go. You're letting it disintegrate. All right. You're letting it return to the earth. Like I'm almost imagining like over time, like a time lapse of the entire body decomposing and going down into the ground and, providing soil and, just whatever, providing the nutrients. I know that's a little bit morbid maybe, but like that's what I see. And this could be happening like energetically for you. So there's a version of you that you've recognized, maybe connected to an illusion or a habit, something that you've been doing. Maybe it's just neglecting your muscles or neglecting your heart in some way. And you're done doing that. You're committed now. You're committing and making the commitment over the next 30 days to really bring an end to that, let it go, and see what blooms, like new seeds here, right? Fertile soil. So we're going from the desert to the fertile soil. This is like you finding the watering hole in the desert. And I just saw, like, I was watching this like ancient archaeology or like alien artifact thing. Like it was just a documentary. They talk real slow. So it's like helps put me to sleep at night. And I was kind of like winding down. And they were talking about Egypt and the pyramids and everything. So some of you earth signs may have a connection there. Okay. So that might be a call out for some of you. But they were showing these camels. And they were so cute. First of all, they had them, poor things, they don't care. They had them like in these like little things around their necks with like these little colorful bonbons because they're probably the touristy camels, you know. And one of them was just chewing, you know how they chew. And I just thought they look like the cutest things. I know they're not always the friendliest and they can like spit on people and stuff, but they just look like they were just chilling, and they're chilling in the heat and they're chilling in the desert. And you know, they're carrying all the water they need with them. So I was just kind of, maybe the camel is kind of your spirit guide right now, earth signs, okay? That could be it for you. So, oh my goodness. The good news is for you, earth signs, is like this desert that you're moving through, I see it in the short term. I see you navigating and passing through it in the short term. So the better job you do of hydrating and caring for those muscles and letting the old version of you go, whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like. Maybe some of you were making choices or tolerating choices in the past that you're not going to be tolerating moving forward. You're not going to be allowing moving forward. And that's why you're kind of in this dry spell, so to speak. But it looks like over the next 30 days, with all of these being minor arcana, you're really going to clear something out. We're going to have to come back and take a look at the earth signs again here in the next, 30 to 60 days to kind of see how things have shifted after this desert. Thank you all so much. One final or two final reminders here. This Sunday, the 22nd, here on the channel from 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm doing free live mini readings. So be sure that you've hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell to all, and then you can join, come a little closer to the 7 o'clock hour, 7 p.m., because it does fill up kind of quick. So if you have a question, you want to get that little mini reading, of course, donations are welcome, but I offer these freely. I would rather have you get your question answered than anything. So it gives you an idea of my style, and you'll have everything in the description, as well as I will have ready the link for the Fire Horse Rising experience for women. So I will have that on Sunday too. So be sure you tune in there. And then this upcoming Tuesday will be Astrotarology episode 7. There's even more astrology that we didn't talk about today, like the Mercury Retrograde, right? We're already in the pre-shadow of the Mercury Retrograde. Some of you are feeling that. And with that eclipse we just had, like, things are happening. So be careful walking around corners, mind doors, things like that. Don't get tripped up because some of the energy is a little bit sparky. Claudia, thank you so much. Thank you all creators for joining today. I can't wait to see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care, okay? Stay tuned, stay true, and keep creating.